Yeah, I know it's rare I'm out in front of the camera like this, but this one kind of deserves it. A couple of videos that have been put up as shorts on Adventuring Philosopher's channel would lead you to believe that she is this enlightened spokesperson for women that knows exactly what women need to do, how society needs to behave, and particularly how men need to be restricted or, dare I say it, vilified. She's clearly a misandrist, there's no doubt about this. She brags about it, that she'll never trust men, that there's something wrong with all men. Specifically, the first video that I'm referencing is one she made recently, where she was complaining about a 40-year-old man approaching a woman and asking her a very lewd sexual question. Now, we have no context for what she saw. We don't know if it was a skit. We don't know if it was just someone who's drunk and had lost control of their normal civility. We don't know anything about it other than what she says. But her conclusion that all men are a bag of snakes and that no one should ever trust any man because of this, a sentiment she expressed in a short also a little bit earlier on the same day, that's going to provoke problems. In the former short, she had said something about how because we can't trust men, since we don't know which man is safe and which one isn't, we just shouldn't, we being women, deal with any of them. Okay. Here's some suggestions to that, Kelly. First, if a young woman is dating, perhaps she should date people she knows, people she grew up with in her community, at her church, and in the clubs that she attended, in her high school, people she's known for a few years. That way she has a lengthy history of behavior to examine. It seems like every time you reference this problem between how men and women relate, you're relating the typical bar pickup thing. Maybe that's the problem. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we should all start singing Matchmaker, Matchmaker from Fiddler on the Roof. But I am saying that some discernment on the part of the woman and the man is in question. And why do I say that? Well, I know many men who have had their lives absolutely ruined by the woman they chose to date/marry. And I was almost one of them. I had a series of very bad relationships before I found my wife. Now, you want us to believe that your prejudice against men is somehow justified because of the crimes of the minority of men. Most men do not behave like the 40-year-old asshole that you are talking about, approaching a woman on the street and speaking so crudely. That's just not something that men do. Not en masse. She'll also reference various crime figures and other things to try to vilify men and say that they're unnecessary. If you're familiar with people like the Femme Theist or the Scum Manifesto, Kelly's very much bordering on that. But Kelly, if men were to reverse this logic towards you, well, there's a very famous case right now in Massachusetts that comes to mind, and how women have rallied behind someone who murdered her 3 children in a premeditated manner. Yes, I'm aware she did everything right beforehand, supposedly, to get out of the situation. She went to her doctor, she went to her family, but she didn't remove herself from the situation, did she? And the same week that trial got famous, there was another famous celebrity death of Hayden Panettiere, who had a similar thing happen to her, and when she realized she was going to be a threat to her children, she gave them up. Almost $1 million has been raised for Clancy's defense. And the conclusion men are drawing is that there seems to be a significant minority, at least, if not possibly a majority, of women that will do anything to evade responsibility. And Kelly, you're starting to seem like one of them. Faulty logic, no empirical evidence, group blaming, ad hominem attacks. Do you see why we don't trust you? Do you see why we don't think we can trust women like you? Do you see why I label you misandrist? How many men do you think are out there that have families they are suffering for every day to make sure there's food on the table? Not to get personal about it, my family's doing okay, but only because I'm sacrificing a lot. And I'm not unique. Almost every man I know in the same situation, trying to keep a family alive in this economy right now, is making more sacrifices than I hear you giving them credit for. And for that reason alone, I despise you. After these last couple of videos, though, I'm starting to loathe you. That you will lump men who are good and virtuous and trying to do right by their families into the same category as people like Andrew Tate. Yeah. You don't seem much a philosopher to me as much as a demagogue.